y'all doing today? It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Right before I came down, hitting the news just a minute ago was an attack in New York City on Lower Manhattan. And it appears some guy drove a truck down a bike path and shooting people and running over them as he went along, yelling Allah Akbar. So we have a lot to think about today. Our hearts are in New York City, and the FBI is already on the case from what I understand. It just happened a little while ago, so I'm not up to speed on it. I don't know what happened, but whatever happened is not good. And anytime you start hearing those words used in an attack like that, you know we all go right there to terrorism, and it looks like this could possibly be that. And if so, it'd be the first time since 9/11 in New York City. It's been a long time since we have had to suffer, but we suffer all the time. We just barely getting over Vegas. We have our own homegrown terrorists that plague this country. So, but we're going to find out what happened, and I'm sure we'll all know soon what happened, because they got the guy alive. So that's good. At least we'll be able to find out what his little brain was thinking when he went down there. Well, we made it through Arrestifus yesterday, and Paul Manafort and old Gates getting arrested and having to post bond. Got their little bracelets on today, I reckon. They're on their house arrest. You know, I wonder how that goes with his luxury suits he can wear around the house with his bracelet on. Anyway, George Papadopoulos, well, he's all up in the news. When we was all looking at Manafort and Gates getting arrested and all look at the tax evasion and money laundering and conspiracy against the country and everything else, look at old George Papadopoulos. Well, he gets arrested a while back ago, and we talked about it yesterday. He started singing. He got caught in a lie to the FBI, so he had to go, what do they call it? A proactive cooperation is what a lot of people think. He's been wearing a wire, so going to see where this goes, because you know he was on that foreign policy advisor, and in 2016, last year, Donnie the Dick called him an excellent guy. Said he was an oil and gas expert. A really good guy, excellent guy. Well, now he's cost. Now every one of them is chiming in with that. He's a low-level volunteer who would sit around and get coffee for people and whatnot. That's what they're making him out to be. Except if that was true, why would there be video of him sitting at the table with Donnie the Dick and all them other political advisors there at the table? Is that where you see? Donnie kept telling us, you know, he knows the best people. Donnie doesn't know shit. That's why he's in the crack he's in now. He's got his ass in a sling with this one, because Papadopoulos, they're putting together the timeline between the time that this man made contact with people who might know Russians. What's that guy's name? The professor. I mean, it even sounds like a stupid spy movie. Get Smart, I guess, and I guess Donnie is Agent 86. I don't know. He's about a doofus son of a bitch, but they're putting together the timeline, and they're looking at the emails that were sent back and forth between this guy and the actions of the Trump campaign, right up to that meeting with Donnie Jr., you know, with Paul Manafort and everybody else that was in that room up there. Jared Kushner, they were all in there. And the interaction between those emails and the interaction of the campaign staff and what they were talking about and what they were doing. I think they have a word for that. Collusion? And you see old Trump's attorney out there now spouting out the words, oh, you know, collusion is not against the law. That's not a crime. They're already singing that. They're already trying to convince their little minions that Donnie colluded, but that's not a crime and it's okay. No, it's not okay. It stinks, Donnie. Colluding with Russians makes you a traitor in everybody else's book, but not in Donnie's book. Not in Donnie's world. Anyway, what else is going on? Well, John Kelly. John Kelly, you know, when he got appointed chief of staff, everybody thought, oh, well, here comes a 4-star Marine general in to save the day. He's going to make everything better. He's going to get old Donnie in line and yeah. Well, none of that happened. Donnie is still on Twitter every day putting out his little turds of crap. And John Kelly is constantly having to go behind him and pick up the shit and put it in a bag and get rid of it, because that's John Kelly's job. But John Kelly, the more he hangs around with that white supremacist shit up there in the White House, he acts like him. He is defending, just like Donnie, the white supremacist. He's saying that the Civil War was just a matter of people not being able to compromise. To compromise. On what, John? What are you talking about, John? We couldn't compromise on what? On owning people? On owning slaves, John? Is that what you mean? It was just, couldn't have a compromise. No, there's no compromise, John. Not when it comes to that kind of shit. Are you shitting me? That's what tells me that you're in that same crowd that has no morals, John. The reason I say that is because you said that Robert E. Lee was an honorable man who gave up his country to fight for his state. Did you hear yourself say that, John? He gave up his country to fight for his state. Of course, John says back then his state was more important than country. Not to patriots, John. Mr. Kelly has things confused here. He thinks that if you're on that side, well, it must have been just an honorable decision. No! It was not an honorable decision. It was treason. The South made a Confederate to stand against the United States of America. That's what it was. The Confederacy thumbed its nose to the United States of America. The Confederacy was a bunch of traitors. They fought for the ownership of slaves. That's what it was. Oh, no, John, it was about states' rights. Yeah, the states' right to own people. Oh, no, John, it was an economic issue. Yeah, because the South had free labor. I said that one time in an argument, and they go, guys, well, no, it wasn't free. They had to pay for the slaves. That's when he needed slapping law, because people that utter that kind of stupid, ignorant crap out of their mouth need to be slapped. And I didn't, but I'm getting old and I should have. Anyway, he went on to say, and I love this shit because it comes right out of Donnie's mouth. He said, men and women of good faith on both sides. Sound familiar? Wait a minute. I heard somebody else say that kind of crap. Oh, yeah. It was Donnie the Dick right after Charlottesville when he was defending the Nazis and the white supremacists and the Klan members. That's the last time I heard it, John. You just hang around that scumbag long enough and you'll get all of his bad habits. Yeah, that's anyway. They made their stand where their conscience had them stand. There were two sides. It was a war for morality, as far as I'm concerned. The North, they thought it was immoral to own people. The South had no morals. They would beat their people, rape the women. They had slaves for life, worked the fields, hard labor for life, and laughed their ass off. That's the South, and that's what they fought for. So don't give me no righteous crap, John, about the honorable men of the South. They were all traitors in my book. They surrendered as traitors because they fought against their own country, you freaking moron. And a four-star general to boot. Oh, I know everything about the military. You might know about military, but you don't know squat about this country, John. It was made for all of us, you idiot. Compromise. Wasn't that the compromise? Wasn't the compromise the 3/5 statement in the Constitution? We tried that compromise shit. It didn't work, John. They're greedy. They want to own them. Get off your shit, John. Get your stinking ass. You ruined your whole career for Donald Trump. You're shitting me, you slimy scumbag, you white supremacist asshole. Defending the freaking statues. That's what he's doing. Oh, Robert E. Lee's an honorable man. No, he's not. He was a slave owner. He wanted to own people for the rest of his freaking life. He wanted everybody to own people. Not an honorable man. You see a statue anywhere around here of Hitler? I don't think so. Why? Because he was an asshole. Robert E. Lee was a freaking asshole. Oh, he was an honest Southern gentleman. No, he was a treasonous asshole. And we put statues up to remind the black people of, oh, that glorious time. Yeah, all those statues were erected during the Jim Crow years, John Kelly. Don't you know shit yet? This is 2017, son. Jesus, you're a 4-star general. Still, man, I'll tell you. It's the depth of ignorance of some of these people that sit in very high places. Like I say, a 4-star general rattling off shit like that. There were good faith, people of good faith on both sides. No, the people on the Southern didn't have any faith. They had what they call fake faith. You know, because they believed God gave them the right to own those people. So their faith was fake shit. Anyway, what else is going on? Jeb Hensarling is a Republican congressman out of Texas, up there by Dallas. That's his district. I don't know what number it is. He's up there by Dallas. And Dallas is that's somewhere way up north, on the other side of San Antonio. Yankee Ring. Anyway, he's the chairman of the House Financial Services Committee. That's the guy that controls the money. Yeah, he's in a pretty good position. Yeah, he decided he's not going to run again in 2018. He makes the 21st Republican senator or congressman that has decided they're not going to run. They're scared to shit, I guess. But they're all going to stay for one thing, and I keep repeating this. They're going to stay for the tax cut. They got to get that tax cut done above all else. And so they can screw over all of us, so they can pay the rich people, the extremely rich, their due. Anyway, what else is going on? I just thought that Steve Bannon, well, he's after Donnie to fire Mueller, or cut off funding, or slow down the progress of justice. Do whatever you can to stall. That's what Steve Bannon is advising Donnie to do. And he might just do it. Try to get rid of Mueller. Just squash the whole thing. Can we say obstruction of justice, Republicans? How about that shit? Let him make that move. And if every Republican doesn't stand against that man, then they are all traitors to this country. If he tries to get rid of Mueller and they stop him, because that man is doing an investigation into a crime. And we best leave him alone, because it appears to me like he's doing a good job. And it appears to me like Donnie the Dick's getting mighty nervous. Oh, tell Rex Tillerson, hurry up with the State Department. Find anything Hillary put her name on. Let's get it out there. Yeah. It's all a big con job. Hey, speaking of con jobs, you know Pastor Benny Hinn? Yeah, he's a big pastor. TV evangelical, you know. He's one of these, he can lay his hands on you and cure you. I thought only Jesus could do that shit, but nope, Benny Hinn too. He can do it. Lots of them can do it. Back when I was younger, it was a guy named Ernest Ainsley. Boom! He'd put his hand on you and knock you to the floor, and my God, you were cured of whatever the hell it was. Yeah. It's a really good con job going. Anyway, he had put out a video last year about your financial miracle is at the door. And because he's what these people call, he's a prosperity gospel. Meaning that in his gospel, Jesus wants you to be rich. He wants you to be rolling in the dough and just filthy mapping. Anyway, and Hinn, in that little video there, was telling the people that, you know, you got to put seed money in to make, if you want to be rich, you got to put money in to make your seed grow, to get Jesus to give you lots of money. For $1,000, you send Benny Hinn $1,000, Jesus will put an abundance of you, an abundance of money and filthy rich shit all over you. Did it happen? Oh no. But if you didn't have $1,000, kick up $120 and we'll give you a new season. The guy's worth tens of millions of dollars. He lives in a mansion that looks like a palace. private jets, very expensive cars, because Jesus wants him to live the lavish lifestyle that his followers cannot afford. Why? Because they're giving their money to him. Oh, the ignorance. Now, the reason it's a story is because the IRS is investigating him, but he's not very concerned because he is a church, and churches are, they're above that stuff. It's Jesus' money. He's just letting me play with it for a while until Jesus comes back and needs it, That's what's sad about how people get pulled into con jobs, is because they make it sound like, oh, this is a glorious thing. It's the same way Donald Trump got in there. I'm going to build you a wall. I'm going to give you the biggest tax break in history. I'm going to ban all the Muslims. I'm going to give you all the red meat you want. And it's a con job. Benny Hinn is a con job. Bring me $1,000 and Jesus is going to just throw money all over you. It's sort of like a strip club. Jesus will just sit there and throw money at you. And if you can't afford that, just send 120. Can't afford that, give an offering. Then take the last dime out of a beggar's pocket to further their own shit. And tens of millions of dollars this guy's worth. And he wants more. That's the sad part. Donnie's worth a lot of money and he wants more. But Donnie got his shit from Russia, and we're going to find that shit out the farther this goes. I can't wait for Carter Page next, because I remember that little shit. I think he's the intermediary, low-level guy that they wanted to send over to meet with this professor guy or some Russian guys, so nobody would get suspicious. And I think Carter Page is that guy. And guess every time they had him, oh, he's that smiling guy. Oh, I don't know anything. Looking like a shit-eating grin on his face, like I don't know anything, but yeah, I was hobnobbing around with all of them. But I don't know anything. Yeah, your ass is, you're turning the barrels coming, buddy. I'm telling you, all these guys are. They're going to work their way right up to the White House. And then it's like Nixon's era. There's a cancer on the White House, and it's getting bigger every day. And until we cut it out of there, until we get that stinking piece of cancer out of our house, it's going to rot the rest of our government. What's left of it when Bannon and Trump get done destroying agency by agency, destroy everything in the country, so even when they lose, we have to put all the shit back together. But that's what Democrats do. We have to fix this shit every time the Republicans screw it up. Which is often, too often. Anyway, I think they're learning they're all jumping the ship. They don't want to run in 2018 against Bannon's ultra-right. Who's that guy down in Alabama shooting the guns up, pulling a gun out and all that other, shoot him in the head if they're not a Christian. Roy Moore, I think. And that guy, that's going to be Bannon's people, and that's who's coming in 2018. So it really should be easier for us to beat. But you never underestimate the stupidity of this population. We said yesterday, our vote, our form of government depends on a well-informed population. A well-informed population. That doesn't mean getting everything from Facebook, because now they're coming out and all these ads that reached all over the place to millions of people. And none of them were pro-Hillary, baby. Every one of them was a stinking lie to something about trying to convince people how terrible the left was, and you had to vote Republican to save the universe. And it was a big con job from Russia. And so if you voted for Trump and you remember seeing all those ads, yeah, you're a victim of a con job. So shake it off. Get loose of it. Throw that party away, because it's become a party of nothing but racist, white supremacist, neo-Nazi, money-making rich people screw the poor. That's what the Republican Party has become. The party of Trump. It's not the party of Lincoln anymore, baby. Anyway, it's starting to rain again. Guess I better get upstairs. Get this thing online. I had a lot of time yesterday trying to get my video up. I wasn't all together. I don't have anything written down on my board that wasn't there yesterday. And I have it all written down here, and half of it I probably didn't even look at when I started talking. Because I love to just visit. When I visit, I don't want to read something. I'm talking to you. Anyway, that's the way I like to think of it. Blue dots around the world. Hang tight, baby. There's more to come, and we're going to see it every day. Keep your hearts in New York. Let's find out what happened there. And we'll all know soon, I'm sure. And thanks again for letting me come in here. John Brittleville, Blue Dot in Texas. Blue Dot in Texas, and there's lots of us down here. And John Bertabo on Facebook and on Twitter and out my truck window and everything else. We can get this going every day. I want to come down here to keep this motivated, keep this going, because we have to keep fighting. Not drop our guard down just because we think we got him on the ropes. No, that's when we have to attack even more. Push the truth. That's all we have to do. Anyway, y'all take care. We'll see y'all later.